Merry New Year, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to the maiden voyage of 2025 in the Tuesday night flight. The last couple of weeks we've been off. We'd like to welcome you back. If you've seen us on Thursdays and Sundays, we appreciate it. But we always appreciate you watching today. Don't forget, if you missed us tonight, catch us on the Odyssey app, catch us on Spotify. We're on several audio platforms. You can always go to YouTube. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. But this is the Tuesday night flight. And tonight, we got the comeback of the boss BJ. We got my sidekick, the gentleman Jack Carr. I'm the Midnight Rider. This is the Tuesday night flight, January 7th edition. Welcome and enjoy. Tonight, we want to give you just some things that we talked about over the last couple of weeks. The Black Monday casualties, the recap of week 18, and then a preview of the college football Final Four is what we're looking into. So with that being said, gentlemen, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Good to be back on this new year. I know my face ain't been up here a lot except for recorded on Sundays, but it's good to see you fellas, man.
Good to see you,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir. I'm peachy, man. Happy to see BJ back, man. Cheers, BJ.
Hey, man, it's a new year. It's time to get into gear, baby, and do what we do the best.
That's it.
I know we got the Black Monday casualties, but let's talk about the week that was in the NFL if we can. Jack, if you got the list, because I don't know if I have the whole list from Sunday.
I got it.
Give me game one from Sunday.
Game one from Sunday was Seattle and the Los Angeles Rams. Seattle was favored by 7. Over under was 38.5. Nobody hit from the
Seattle won. Seattle won.
Seattle won 30-25.
And then the Rams didn't play anybody that night because they were holding back people. They didn't care where they were seated, I think. I don't know what you guys felt. BJ, let's start with you. Get you back in the flow, baby.
Man, look, I think the Rams, I think y'all know what I say about Sean McVay all the time. I agree with Midnight Rider. I don't think they care who they play because they know that when them cylinders are clicking, they can put up points and beat anybody. And it's kind of an arrogant play, but at the same time, they're right. If they go in and they're playing a game and Matt Stafford is hitting, that's going to be a tough outing. That's going to be a very tough outing.
I agree with you, BJ. I agree with you, BJ. When the Rams offense is clicking, they got wide receivers for days. They're going to catch that ball. And Kyron Williams, I thought it was smart for them to go ahead and rest up. You don't want nothing worse than get a non-contact injury week 18, like happened to Baltimore Ravens Isaiah Likely. You know what I'm saying? That's just wow. So I'm down with them resting some players.
But, so the Rams, I think they end up falling into the 4 spot now, with Tampa Bay going into the 3 slot. So that's kind of how that part of that play or that game affected the playoff system. Jack, give me game 2.
Game 2 was Minnesota-Detroit, that Sunday night game that we was all anxious to see. Slightly disappointed, but we'll talk about that a bit more. Over-under was 56.5, and Detroit minus 2.5. Another one. Nobody from the Junkies hit. I told you, man. I don't bet week 18. I do not.
Well, I mean, this was the game that we all look forward to. It was the two teams with the 2 best records. I think since I've been home because of the snow, I've watched more NFL live and all that stuff. I think the one point they made that was sufficient was I think Aaron Glenn made a decision. He decided to make Sam Darnold beat them. And if Sam Darnold couldn't beat him, then he was cool with living with the results. And I think you saw that with the way they played. They were very aggressive. They blitzed a lot. They forced Minnesota into situations they weren't used to. And I think that's how we ended up with the outcome. But with that being said, let's go back to the Wolves, man.
Look, man, I think other than the score, the losers are the Minnesota Vikings because they put their all into that game and came up way short. So now I think they're on the same side of the bracket. So if Minnesota wins, they got to go to Detroit, don't they?
I think Minnesota becomes the 5. So yeah, so it's 1-4-5.
Yeah, so they already got the blueprint for him, and like you said, if Sam Darnold can't beat you, and we go into, you got to come to Ford Field and do this again, and look, Detroit already got the playbook, and Minnesota's gonna have to show something different, and I don't know how much more tricks they got in the bag to kind of. Detroit is, we talk about Detroit all the time. They're missing some players, but they're one of the most complete teams. There's not too much you're going to run around them. On top of, you have to go with Dan Campbell gambling and changing the game. And when it doesn't go right, I say this all the time, when it doesn't go right, he looks like an idiot. But when it goes right and he flips his way, it changes the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this the Minnesota playoffs play out, and if they have to go back to Ford Field to play the Lions.
Yeah, definitely. If Minnesota can get by LA, it's going to be matchup number 3 of the season for the Rams and for the Lions and the Vikings. So that's going to be something to look forward to.
And before I give my turn, let's go to a couple of those comments. Sideline Junkies, of course, that's the big guy. Make sure you acknowledge the double champion, the big guy KG. Oh, that's right, because in his fantasy league with 365 teams, he has a Super Bowl week 18. So he won that. Green Bay receiver Christopher Watson. Let's go to this comment. Green Bay wide receiver tore his ACL. That's Christopher Watson.
Yeah.
Let's see. Lee Ice. Somebody on Sunday told y'all to take the under. Well, I don't know if he said it, but I know I took all unders. Didn't I, Jack Carr?
Yeah, but you took Minnesota.
Yeah, but I took all unders.
Yes, you did.
Okay, all right. Matty Ice. It's Detroit Super Bowl to lose. They play like that in the playoffs. Who was beating them? I think they can't do that with everybody, but we'll come back to that. The Lions exposed Darnold for what he is not. That's an interesting take.
Yeah, I disagree, but
does the NFL reseed? Doesn't one get the lowest seed?
Yes, one gets the lowest seed. Whoever wins, one goes to one. So
they get the buys.
Yep.
I hate if that's the case. I don't like it. Yep. I just play the bracket out. Whatever the bracket is, play the bracket. Let's stop being cute. Let's stop trying to make everybody happy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't deserve a juice box. Only winners get ice cream after the game. That's all it is. Let's keep it. Let's stick to the rules, man. Shoot, you can't get sprinkles if you ain't win, son.
Didn't it used to be 2 teams got the bye before we added the extra? Yeah, before we added the extra.
Yeah, before we added the extra
team.
Yeah, I'm cool with just the best team getting the bye. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Right. I think we got some things to work out in the college version of this, but in this version, I think we've done everything that we can do. With that being said, let me finish out this Detroit, Minnesota thing. I think for us, Detroit, like I said, showed the world what they can do. I think Detroit, with Jahmyr Gibbs being the primary back, shows that they're deep enough as a team that they can take some losses and still manage and mitigate those losses because they are superiorly talented. I think the one thing that people underscore or don't think about is the Jameson Williams effect on this offense. He gives you the home run. So he takes the top off the defense. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown doing whatever he does across the middle of the field. You throw in Laporta.
Everything.
I think they just got so many ways to attack you from an offensive standpoint. And then even last week, they hit you with Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield, which I thought, if it wasn't Bijan in that draft 2 years ago, he was probably the best or most dynamic back in that draft class, or would have been if it wasn't for the presence of Bijan Robinson.
True.
Anybody else got anything else before we finish that out?
Well, I want to go to one of these comments I saw that stated it's Detroit's Super Bowl to lose. Is that what it says? Yeah.
I got you. Yeah,
I don't agree. Halfway through the season, yes, Detroit was my Super Bowl favorite. But today, I disagree. You got Buffalo playing lights out ball. You got both teams in LA playing ball. Well, I'm sorry, the LA Rams, not the Chargers. And yeah,
you got to be careful with the Chargers.
And it's not just the Lions. I think there's 4 teams right now: the Rams, the Chargers, the Lions, and the Bills. That's the 4. I think it's 4 teams that are in the race now, not just one. So,
well, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yes, sir.
One thing, and Buffalo showed you Detroit. Detroit is that's probably one team Detroit gave that 120% effort, and they couldn't beat Buffalo. And that's why Campbell was going for it. That's why Campbell was trying to flip the field with the onside kicks to try to get that ball back. It's a couple of matchups here. I think Houston's going down in flames with the Chargers matchup. I don't want to get too far ahead of our show here. But a team I think you have to be on the watch for because of how they're coached is the Chargers. So if everything goes kind of the way, if let's just say the Chargers win, everybody else wins, the Chargers will go play the Chiefs. I really think that the Chargers have a legitimate chance of beating the Chiefs. This is their 3rd time, and we're not talking about Anthony Lynn or somebody on the sideline. We're talking about Harbaugh go over there, somebody, a planner, and I don't think he's going to don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're going to beat them. I think they have the best shot of those lower seeded teams to beat the Chiefs. And then Baltimore better be careful, because I've been saying, I know Pittsburgh been on a skid, but if it's one team that can go into Baltimore, Maryland, and knock off the Ravens and shut down Lamar in this MVP caliber season, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's interesting. I just don't know if Pittsburgh has enough.
They don't need enough. That's the thing. Pittsburgh wins nasty. All you need to do is hit that prime button on TJ Watt and put your foot on his ass and hit that cord a couple times. If he gets going early and they get to Lamar, it's going to be a long game for him. And that's how Pittsburgh isn't going to win 41-35. They're going to win 19-13, 16-13, and the other team is going to be sore. They're going to be hurting. Pittsburgh you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and they're just one of those grimy teams, and it's one of those games where the other teams is like, we just want to go home. We're tired of playing like this. We're dirty. We wet. We want to change into some fresh draws. Enough is enough. And that's the type of wins Pittsburgh get, man. They're the dirtiest team in the AFC. Everybody else is kind of on the finesse side. They're the dirtiest team.
So Maddie asked a great question. So if the 7 seed wins,
automatically
they go to Detroit.
Automatically. If Green Bay upsets the Eagles,
right?
If Green Bay upsets the Eagles, that's automatically said they go to Detroit, and then
everything else fixed out.
Everything, So if Green Bay was the win, they go to Detroit. If Washington was the win and the Vikings was the win, the Vikings will have a home playoff game in the second round, because that's 5 and 6. The only way Washington can have a home playoff game is if
the NFC Championship game and they play 6 and 7.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting. It is what it is.
But if say Philly beats Green Bay, and then say Washington beats Tampa Bay, and then say the Rams beat the Vikings, Washington's going to have Detroit then. They're going to be the lowest seed.
Right.
Oh, say that you said if Washington win and the Vikings win?
Yeah. And Philly wins.
Yes.
Then
Whoever that lowest
Washington is the lowest seed, so they will go up to number 1. So whoever's the lowest seed after the round.
Yep. We'll go to Detroit. Take a little sip of rum. Something burning.
I got you.
Okay.
Sideline junkies.
That juice you drink. Oh, you know.
KG says, I don't know, BJ. KG also says Pittsburgh is on shaky ground. Jack Wagner, Pittsburgh could, but it's not going to happen. And then slap some Matty Ice, slap some Marmalade on Pittsburgh and Houston. They are toast.
I definitely think Houston's toast.
Yeah,
Houston can't block.
Bro, Houston's burnt toast. It's just too many injuries. They don't have momentum. If they come out of this with a win, if they beat them some type of way, they're gonna get slaughtered the next round. It's just the opportunity is coming, and you get your betting slips and your props ready, because like I said, if they do make it to the next round and they got to play Buffalo or Kansas City, whoo, my goodness.
Hey Jack, what's game 3 on the slate?
Game 3 was New Orleans and Tampa Bay. 44.5. I got Tampa Bay favored by 14.5. Was that correct?
Yep, it was a big spread.
Yeah. And the over under was 44.5. Tampa Bay 27, New Orleans 19. Nobody got that one either.
Because that was the over. So that's where everybody got messed up on that.
And KG and you had the under.
Right. This ball game was interesting because on the last play or the next to last play of the ball game, they decided to get Mike Evans his 1,000 yards, which I think he deserved. I wish they would just done it sooner, so that way it didn't look like a last-minute ditch effort. Well, Tampa Bay also solidifies the 3rd spot in the playoffs, giving them a matchup with Washington. With that being said, let me turn this over to the boss man.
What you want to hear? You want to hear about the game, or you want to hear about this playoff matchup? The hell with the game. Nobody cares about the New Orleans Saints except Lady C. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. I'm sorry, Lady C. I love you. I think this is probably one of the better matchups in the playoffs. The Bronco Bills game is going to be interesting. But I think the momentum Washington has coming, going in, and 2 totally different teams, but Washington almost beat this team on Tom Brady's Super Bowl run and that home playoff game at FedEx Field by the way of Mr. One Taylor Heineke. So 2 completely different teams, coaches, and everything. What's the over under on this game? Anybody have that handy?
I can get it. So give me a second.
It's going to change a lot for us.
I got it right here. It is the Buccaneers only favored by 3, and we got over under 50.5. I picked the Commanders to win the division. They didn't do that. They were short a little bit, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and pick them to knock the Buccaneers out and see what's waiting for him in the next round. I just like Jaden Daniels, man. I like his composure. I like how he runs the offense. It's a great feeling when you get what the Kansas City Chiefs have, and when you have a quarterback where it doesn't matter how much time is left, you feel like you have a shot to win a game. And we have that in Buffalo with Josh Allen. Cincinnati has it in Joe Burrow. The Ravens have it in Lamar, and it's a great feeling, man. It really is. Matthew Stafford with LA. It's just like you're never out of the game. They just need they got the poise. They did the time management. I don't know if y'all saw that clip with Tua. I forgot who he's messing with on the field, and he's kind of like going through everything you have to go through to before you hike the ball. He kind of runs out of time on himself, and he's like, by the time you do this, it's like hike, and he doesn't get through all. Then you got to go through that in Miami where you got that type of quarterback, and everything's moving too fast for him. Doesn't have the arm strength. But I like the Commanders, man. I do. I like the Commanders in Tampa Bay to win a playoff game for Washington. It's going to be a big thing.
Okay.
Jack,
okay.
Recap of the game and then hold off from your pick because I know we won't have BJ Thursday and Sunday. So we can do our picks for Saturday and Sunday, Thursday and Sunday.
Yeah, no, Tampa Bay's offense did what it needed to do the whole game. And the whole Mike Evans thing, that was for $3 million to get some incentive money for reaching certain goals. And it's so funny because Coach Todd Bowles at Tampa Bay says, "Hey, Mike owes me at least $1 million for that, for keeping him in the game and calling the play." And then another person said he should probably break off $100,000 to New Orleans for that soft ass defense they was playing there on that last play too. So everybody in the stadium knew he needed that, and he got it. And I mean, I think that's good. Mike Evans deserves it, man. The past 6-8 years he's put out are Jerry Rice, the only name you can think of, and that's who he tied the record with for the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. So that game, it was what it was. I was happy for Mike Evans in that. And I'm happy to see Baker be guiding the team back to the playoffs. Yeah, I'm not going to go into the matchup with Washington. I was almost getting ready to do that, but we'll talk about that Thursday. That's all I got on this Tampa Bay game. The next game, Midnight Rider.
Nah, let's go back to these comments real quick. Let's catch up on everybody.
Okay. Yes, sir.
James King, Houston QB smelling himself, needs to be humbled, will not be a star again. I gotta disagree with this one.
He don't have the people around him that he used to have.
I think the thing that hurt them the most was I think Stephon Diggs signing there hurt. I thought it was a distraction by addition. I think they also had Tank Dell is out for large portions of the season. Nico Collins was out for portions of the season. Their offensive line just wasn't sturdy enough. And I think what they had early on in week 1 and 2 with the run game, they couldn't duplicate it again. And that was their biggest problem, was they couldn't duplicate the run game and create the options to make that team multiple. And then they couldn't protect the quarterback. Anybody else? Any thoughts?
No, exactly right. That's exactly right. And with his weapons out, that just let them pin their ears back and come at him and concentrate just on the run and sacking the quarterback and not worry about it. When, Dell and Collins, man, nice. And I think, you look at what he had 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Didn't he have D-Hop back then? Didn't he have D-Hop for 2 years?
For who?
For Houston.
No. Stroud wasn't there with D-Hop.
Not at all? Okay.
No, he was already. This is only his second year. So D-Hop's been out of the building.
Yeah, he's got some fine receivers there anyway, though.
Right. So he's got Nico. He's got Tank.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem at the QB spot in Houston.
I just think they got to protect him, because when I watched him on that Sunday night, he was getting killed, and it was just no hope. Even the Saturday special against the Ravens, he was looking through his ear hole, and they was just yelling, "Watch out!" So that's how that went. I don't remember what we were talking about here, but James King says 3. I'm not sure what that tied into.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So James, if you remember what that tied into, just let me know. Matty Ice. Washington can win this game for sure, but I think it's going to be a very entertaining game. I totally agree with that. Let's see. Washington over Tampa Bay. Bet. James King. This is his second year. I can totally agree with that.
Right.
He's arrogant. Time will tell. I don't see that. I think all those college kids, Bryce, because I think what everybody forgets is Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, they're all in that same window, that 1 or 2 year window with California quarterbacks. So I don't see the arrogance. Maybe that's me, but I just don't see it. I think the difference is he got a little bit more airtime because he does the thing with Micah Parsons. That might be what contributes to people thinking he's arrogant, but I don't see it.
No, I don't either. I see a smart young kid that knows a playbook in and out. And he should be confident, he should be cocky. I mean, look where he went to college at. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then he had a hell of a season. So he showed you when everybody's healthy and everything's working, they're dangerous. But like the Midnight Rider said, they just got decimated at the wrong position. I think if they got decimated the offensive line and he still had the receivers,
right,
he probably would have still been getting killed, but it'd been more touchdowns, more yardage. Everybody went down. And then like I told y'all in the beginning, I didn't like the Stephon Diggs. And I just thought, like you said, that took away from the things that they want to do as a team. And I hate shitting on Diggs because he helped turn things around in Buffalo, but he's such a drain, man. You're going out to your car 15 degrees and you figure out you left your cigarette lighter on, your phone charging, and you know that car ain't going to start. That's Diggs. He's the drain, man. And it's just, I don't know what he's going to do, but he'll be somewhere next year. I don't know where. It's not going to be Houston, though.
Totally agree. 2 more, then we're going to go back to the rundown. Jack Wagner says, can only do 15 right now.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, shoot, I missed the comment. Here we go.
Are we talking about grams? 15 grams?
Hey, we're not getting into any of that. How different can things?
Text my phone, Jack.
Don't get Jack started. He'll break you off, man.
Matty Ice says, how different could things have been in Cleveland if they didn't run an injured Baker out of town?
Oh, boy.
Cook sent Deshaun Watson. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it wouldn't have worked. I think Baker had to leave. I think the receiving core there looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane and Njoku. I think what's the dude from LSU at the time? Oh, I can't think of his name. I mean, Odell Beckham, and I can't think of the other receiver name, but
Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry. I think they struggled. I think they were more of a hindrance to him. And I think the best thing for Baker was to get out of town, get some new coaching, and then fall into a better place. When you fall into a spot where you got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, you even have a decent tight end, I think that's the perfect spot.
Don't forget about the confidence stop in LA with Sean McVay. Yes. That was
learning the playbook on the day like 2 days before.
Learning the playbook. Sean McVay and that staff, Matt's probably helping them out, giving them sometimes you just need a shot in the ass, a quick boost to remind you that, damn, I can play in this league. I can throw this around.
And this ain't promised.
Exactly. And you just need that renewed energy. And then, we'll get to it, I guess, a little bit more on Black Monday because it kind of ties into what I wanted to say about that. It's just these teams, some of them are just not set up to develop players, you know, for multitude of reasons. Bad organization, the coaching staff isn't set up. You got bad coaching, and I say that all the time. You can't throw a kid in there and not like we were just talking about with Detroit. Detroit made Detroit knew what Sam Darnold's weaknesses were, and we said we're going to expose your weaknesses. Right. Then on the flip side, when you're playing chess on the field, it's up to Minnesota to hide them. Right. And they didn't do a good job of it. And I just feel like these, we'll get in more to it when we get to Black Monday. I ain't gonna
let me speed through this real quick. The 3 was James King talking about the spread. Earl Lawrence, Stroud hit 2-year wall. He'll be all right. Totally agree. He says, I'm gonna let that just go because I don't know where that goes to. Spread. Jack Wagner, y'all tripping, and then Jack Wagner laughing at us. So, Jack Carr, because I'm not gonna be like KG and call you by the wrong name.
Got you.
Give us game 4. What KG call him?
Oh, he called him Jack Wagner for like 3 times during like the episode last Thursday.
Yeah, he did.
That's that head hit. That's a head hitting the headboard. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So, 4th game on our nickel was Buffalo, New England, 36.5 over under. Buffalo favored by 3. Final score 23-16, New England. Nobody hit this one, but Midnight Rider did pick New England, and you missed by like 2 points, dude.
I knew. I mean, like, there's this difference in when they're playing their backup quarterback, and the kid should be a starter in the league, but the problem with him is he just doesn't have any accuracy. Joe Milton has probably, like I said before, and I probably said in our pre-draft, he had the best arm talent in this draft class. His only problem was he just can't aim it. You know what I'm saying? He don't know where it's going to go. He got a howitzer, but the scope don't match. So I knew New England was going to pull this ball game out just because I thought Buffalo was just ready to get to next week. Buffalo wanted to get out of Dodge, didn't want to have any injuries. And I think that showed because I think I had Ray Davis instead of James Cook in one of my parlays in terms of a touchdown because I thought they would go down the roster a little bit. What did you guys think?
Man. I told you Cook.
Did Cook score? Because I know Davis scored.
Oh, I thought you said Cook scored.
No, Davis scored.
Okay. Good.
Go ahead, Jack. Take the lead on this.
Well, you had New England out there trying to save their coach's job, probably what they're trying to do. Buffalo didn't care what happened in this game. And amazing that they reached the over in this. I did not think that was going to happen. New England, 23-16. That just doesn't sound like an NFL score sometimes nowadays. But I ain't got much on this. I didn't watch much of it either. Like I said, Week 18 football, when 90% of the playoffs is full, is ugly football. So, you got anything, BJ?
Let me tell you something, man. It's never okay to lose to New England. Not after they kicked and owned the division for 20 years. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? I just, you can't help your seeding. You can't hurt it. You are where you are. You're the number 2. And you get to rest some players. This is probably one of the healthiest Bills teams going into the playoffs in recent years. So yeah, you hate losing to the Patriots, but you understand it's a bigger goal this weekend at Highmark Stadium versus the Broncos. So
yeah. Hey guys, and I also wanted to bring up, you know how about resting players. That Chiefs game. I don't remember the last time I seen the Chiefs get shut out. I meant to look that fact up before the show. Maybe I can get into it here shortly. But 38-0. And the Chiefs was on the sideline having a good time. I saw Andy Green joking with people and shit. They did not care about that football game. And I'm not surprised they didn't score. They was throwing the water boy out there. They put in Patty Mahomes' mom, let her play, threw her out to Kelsey's mom. it was just crazy in Kansas City who they was putting in the game.
I think they said Andy Reid hadn't been shut out since 2012. I think that 2012, 2014. But let me tell you something. The Chiefs knew what they were doing. Okay. If the Cincinnati Bengals get in the playoffs, they probably ride into the AFC Championship game. And that's the only team that's beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe they beat them at Arrowhead to go to they beat them at Arrowhead to go to the Super Bowl. And I know
next year they were trying to call it Burrowhead.
Yep.
Because he was like 2-0.
And they came back in that game. They came back in that AFC Championship. They were down at the half. They came back. They just did Buffalo, the Ravens, a big favor by letting the Broncos. They don't care about the Broncos. They don't care about the Chargers. They really don't care about any of the AFC. They want to get their divisional game over with and get their battle ready for the AFC Championship. That's the Chiefs' mindset.
Real quick, because Earl Lawrence brings up a great question. And let's just touch on this for a second. We ain't got to stick here.
I was going to talk about that later. Yeah.
What's up with Hill talking about rolling out of Miami? I mean, the man made a choice to go get paid. And what he didn't factor in was the fact that he had a great situation. And even if you take a little bit less money, maybe you part of a 3-time champion, or instead of being a 1-time champ and watching them have success without you. I mean, that's the kicker right here. And then the fact that the kid didn't even want to go in the ball game in the fourth quarter at Miami and finish out the game. For me, any talks about trying to bring him to DC, we don't want him. We don't need him. I turn to Mike Singletary. Can't win with him. I don't need that attitude. Won't win. Nah, I'd rather lose without him than win with him. Go ahead.
I'll take him in a minute.
Nope.
Jack, you would still take him after what he just did?
Mm-hmm. He ain't never had a season, I think, that he didn't make the playoffs. This is his first time, I think, in his career that he didn't make playoffs. So winners, when them feathers get ruffled, yeah, they can pout a little bit, but Reek is just a blaze, man. And have JD5 load up and hit him deep, we ain't got nobody that fast on our team.
I'm good.
Let me tell you something, man. I said when I think he was choosing between, I think it was the Jets and the Dolphins. And he went and chased the money, and he went to the Dolphins. Here's the problem: as soon as you go to the Dolphins, yes, you're the cheetah, but I just said earlier when I was talking about Tua, and I got to find y'all that clip. It's very interesting.
Oh gosh!
But Tua doesn't have the arm strength that Pat Mahomes have. So those plays that he was getting in Kansas City, them toss-ups and throw-ups so he could run underneath it and you have to adjust it to it because it ain't coming that far. You have to go back and go get the ball. You're not outrunning to go get the ball. And it's right. And Stephen A. Smith said, he's like, you miss Patrick Mahomes now, don't you? And it's going to be hard for me. And Buffalo just got rid of Diggs. When you see teams getting rid of players right now, and I think they had 13 different players catch a touchdown this year. One shy of setting a record. You don't want to deal with that headache. You can find another fast player in the draft. It's another fast player in the draft that runs 4.2, 4.3. Maybe he don't turn out to be Tyreek Hill, but who wants that headache? If I'm him, I think he just messed up his money. I played a game, and then you express your displeasure after the game. Like this new age of players is killing me, absolutely killing me. But I don't want him on my team. I don't want him in Buffalo.
I could see him going up north.
Nah, he good.
Nah,
he stay right there.
Nah, he a warm-blooded kid. He don't want that. He don't want that cold weather. He want to stay somewhere where it's nice and sunny.
For several years.
Yeah, but now he got a little taste of Miami life. He
got
good.
sunshine.
Yeah. Jack Carr said that game made no difference to Cincinnati. I mean, to
Come
Kansas City.
on.
They're
You
already
said you
set in
wasn't going
stone.
to mess up, Midnight Rider.
Huh?
Excuse me, sir. You said you wasn't going to mess up.
What I mess up?
What'd
I
you
called him
call
Jack
that?
Carr.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So now you're on the backside of KG. I don't know, B. We're going to have to get these
Whoa,
guys
pause. I'm
straight.
not on the backside of nothing. No.
I mean, you can't even see Jack Wagner, so you can't say all of
Damn,
us been alike.
I had to come back on camera on the backside of who? What?
No.
Damn.
Pause. All right. Matty Ice says KC didn't give two shits about that game. I really think they didn't want Cincy find a way in. I totally agree.
Absolutely.
I think we even just expressed that. Jack Wagner, if anything, he regrets his decision to leave Kansas City. I can see that.
Sure.
Matty Ice, line of the night. Annie Agar had a great line of her recap. If he leaves Miami, it's the first time all year he's pulled out. Because I think he had like 5 kids this year with different women. Exactly. Miami should stick his ass in Buffalo. Let him get a taste of that for a while.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I think certain teams. I think if you understand what your team's makeup is, some of these guys that become available, you don't want the headache, you don't want the stress. I get the luster of it, but I prefer not to have the luster if you can be a team all on the same one accord. And with that said, Jack Carr, take us to the closeout of the nickel.
You said that car hard, boy. You
what?
I thought he was gonna read Jack's comment.
That was that hard R. That was that hard R car.
No, babe, I've heard that a few times. Game 5 of our nickel was the hometown Washington against Dallas. 43-5 was the over-under. Washington favored by 7. We got a final score. Washington 23, Dallas 19 on a last pass late in the game. That was amazing. I was very surprised that Dallas took that kickoff and just ran upfield and straight out of bounds. They didn't try no loopy-doop stuff. I'm glad they didn't because, one of the Washington players could have got hurt and something stupid like that. But, yeah, Dallas just took that lump. I was very surprised at the end of the game. I mean, I know it was only 2 seconds, but you seen the miracle of, what was that, Tennessee?
Yeah. Music City Miracle.
Yeah, so I was surprised Dallas just took their lump and went home. At home. Midnight Rider hit that game. That's the only hit we had on the nickel.
DJ, what you got?
Nah, I expected them to win, close it out. And like I said, man, I already talked about number 5. He just got the knack for the dramatic, and it I like the I don't know if y'all talked about it, but I just like Mariota behind him and what he gives him. He just that you don't realize how big the backup quarterback is when it comes to leadership. A guy that knows that, he got to be ready to drop up a dime, but it's more than just sitting on the sideline being ready to go. It's communication. What do you see? What's going on? And I think him being a veteran and lending that to him and not trying to step on him, he knows that's 5's team. And I like that, man. I just like to see it because we saw it in Tennessee the other way around with Tannehill and Malik Willis. We've seen a couple of nasty ones where, they don't want to help. Shit, Favre and Aaron Rodgers, So it's good to see that, man.
I agree, BJ. And, I remember, I think it was week 3, 4, something like that, because Mariota was injured at the beginning of the season. And then we added him to our roster, and I'm kind of snickering, But as we got into week 6, 7, 8, I was observing, sideline stuff. And when they're over there looking at the tablets, I'm like, nah, that's Mariota's perfect for JD5. He's a professional, and he knows the game. And that big play he made at the end of the game was awesome. Great fake on the dive up the middle, and then keep it around the end for 18 yards and the first down, and that was 4th and 1 too, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that play right there had me standing up. I wasn't even on the edge of the seat. I stood up for that one, and such a great ball fake up the middle that made that end just crash. And Mariota had the whole left side to come around, and man, the whole team was excited. That was amazing.
Yeah, I think the kicker with Mariota is he's comfortable in his space. But I do think by what he's done the last couple of weeks of the of the season, showing up against Tennessee, showing up against Dallas, I think he's earned himself to be somebody's spot starter
Yes,
next year.
I
I
do
don't know
think
who
we're going to be losing
is.
our backup.
Yes.
I
I think
think
he'll go somewhere and start for a couple games and let somebody's young quarterback come in, week 10 or whatever. But I think he's earned himself that if he wants it. The question is,
Mhm.
does he want that?
and I was
He
about to
wants
say that.
to stay.
And you got a whole change in organization here. You got winning culture. Mario, unfortunately, that's another quarterback that I don't think he was set up the way he needed to be set up coming in the league. But you have a chance here. Unfortunately, his time has passed.
Right.
He's not going to revive a franchise or anything, but he can be a part of something special here and helping in development. And sometimes you don't know that could spark all of a sudden you see Mariota QB coach, offensive coordinator. It's time for that. It's time for that for him. So he can be a part of something special and help JD5 continue to. And you don't know, it might be a request the young quarterback may, hey, if can we keep Mariota? Or he might ask him to stay. We don't know the inner workings, but it's a great relationship. And just with everything else going on with people quitting in the middle of the game, you like seeing that. That's old school, and that's how it's supposed to be.
I think the kicker is, what does Mariota want to be? Because he can stay here and be here for the next 5 years, make his money, and just back up Jayden. But if he has that interest in wanting to be a starter, I think he can do that also. So I think that's the kicker for him, is he can be a spot starter somewhere, earn a couple starts, But the problem he's going to deal with is once that young guy is ready, you got to move out the way. Yeah. And why do that when you already got a situation that you're used to? So that's going to be interesting because they've put him in a space to be successful. And he's probably had his best 2 starts or his best 2 games in the games he's filled in for Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
Anything else to close out this nickel?
Just real quick, I could just see, if he does stay, them having more packages for him to come in the game, just to kind of, because you see Jayden, take some shots and get hurt, just to keep Mariota going. Nothing serious. Maybe something 5 plays a game. Maybe he's on the field with 5. It's just it's a numerous things they could do. It just depends on what Mariota wants to do. Try to get to some of these comments.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Let's see, what did I leave off? Let's see.
Right there.
Exactly. Miami should stick his ass in Buffalo. Let him get a taste of that football. All right, so that was the last one. Tomorrow's guest, Doug Rome. Good show. I look forward to sitting in the passenger seat tomorrow night.
Cool.
Looking forward to it, Dougie.
James King, attitude. They expect to win. I think that's the biggest key.
That right there. You see it on their faces, man. You see it on their faces from the turn of last year when they're expecting the bomb to drop and it turned and go the wrong way to now that glimmer of hope. Oh, we got a chance. He's getting back on. You see the defense, like, we just got to get him the ball back. You see it.
Dude, I sat here. We were down 21-7 to Philly. I was just like, yo, we got JD5. I'm good.
Oh, JD5.
Yep.
Yeah, JD5. I'm good. Like, no matter what the situation has been this year, after Chicago, I'm just like, as long as he got a chance, I'm good. I'll deal with it. I'll live with it. I have a saying that, you gotta die on the cross of your beliefs. And my belief was in
Mhm.
JD5. So I'll die on that cross every day. Not to get too deep into it, but as we get into that, let's go ahead and transition into some college
No,
football playoffs
no,
real
no,
quick.
no, no,
Oh,
no,
did I
no, no. I got a tad bit of NFL news that I caught up with today. It appears as though Deshaun Watson is having trouble with his recovery on his Achilles. He's having setbacks. So there's a possibility he might not play next year. So is Deshaun Watson's career over? Achilles can end your career, ended Sonny Jurgensen's career back in the day. I know here in 2024, 25, surgery is a lot different, but that Achilles is very important. If you're having problems with the recovery, it could ruin your career. So let's keep an eye on that Deshaun Watson recovery. And then we got Ezekiel Elliott signing with the Chargers. Chargers have had running back injuries throughout the season. So I think that was a good little scoop up over there, Harbaugh did.
So
What do
just
y'all
to
think about
piggyback
that?
what we're talking about, Deshaun Watson falls in that
Oh,
thing with, I think there was D'Angelo Hall. There's been a couple guys that in their recovery from their Achilles, they've had like a slip or a slip and fall situation, and it re-aggravated the Achilles and pushed their
mhm.
timetable back. So that's where I would see that falling out or playing out.
Yeah, no, Achilles recovery is hell. My father had torn his Achilles in the late 80s. And I tell you, my father was Superman in my eyes, man. And to see him down like that, you're down. You're down. You ain't doing shit. So I wish him the best. I enjoyed watching at Clemson. I enjoyed seeing him air it out in Houston. That's who had D Hop. Watson had D Hop, right?
Yeah, he had Andre Johnson.
That's who had him. And Andre Johnson. So, you know, we'll see what happens with Deshaun Watson. We'll definitely keep everybody updated.
All right, real quick trip to college basketball. Looks like G Town is up by 11.
And give me on
Watson's
that
done.
basketball.
Watson's done by Jack Wagner. Jack Wagner. Um, and let's get back to the banners real quick. Let's go because we gotta get this in real quick. Let's talk about Black Monday casualties. We lost, and let's not even get
Basketball.
into Monday. So Gerard Mayo was out. Doug Peterson's out. Antonio Pierce is out as of today.
Mhm.
Rand Carthon is out as the GM. Who am I missing?
Uh, Dennis Allen, New Orleans.
Yeah,
Missing
he's been
out.
out.
Uh, New England, Jacksonville, Chicago.
New England, Gerard Mayo is out. So let's take care of the KG2 first. Gerard Mayo and Antonio Pierce, both guys, 1 year guys. Any thoughts on them being out?
Go ahead, Jack.
BJ.
You
All right. I
yeah, go ahead.
think, I definitely think that both of them deserved another year. I mean, Mayo, he didn't have much to work with, but that team improved. And over in Vegas, man, you got a different quarterback every other week. You throwing mustache quarterback out there, then you got this. I don't think those two coaches had a fair shot in Pierce and Mayo. But over in New England, I've heard that they're looking at Brian Flores to come in there, the offensive coordinator at Minnesota. That's who I hear. I mean, Vrabel is mentioned too. I mean, he's a Patriot, but I think they're going to bring in Brian Flores. He's definitely wanted by a couple teams. So we'll see what
Hey,
happens with that. Go ahead. I'm done.
I think that it it's a rare opportunity, and I know it's going to be hard to turn down. It's not a lot of people that can say they coach an NFL team. And I see that I think New England They interviewed Leftwich and somebody else. And I say this again: the Rooney Rule is an absolute joke.
It
It's an absolute joke. It's not what Rooney helped put that rule in place for. So they're like, let's get our token Rooney Rule out the way, so we can go get Mike Vrabel. That's because it's just. And, I've said before, guys like Dennis Green and Herm Edwards, you wonder how, the steak dinner, the flight, first class, what did they give them to come out? They knew they weren't getting them damn jobs. Okay. With that being said, it's a elite fraternity being an NFL head coach, but I think you're going to have to start treating it like these draftees treated coming out of college, where you see, I'm not going to this team or that team, and it might have to be like that, so you can have some dignity. Like, you need a fair shot. You need 3 to 5 years to try to turn a team around. It's just you get quarterback. Anthony Lynn got fired after they got Herbert after his first year. Didn't even get. You saw Herbert was special. Anthony Lynn didn't even get a chance to build his roster, his team. They got him out of there. Kingsbury, that didn't work out. But I don't understand. If you're going to fire the coach, the GM has to go to after 1 year. If I own a team, unless it's just horrible, we got strip club in the locker room, liquor at practice. If you're just in a dysfunctional team, which the Patriots are, which the Raiders are, without a stable quarterback, you have to give it 2 to 3 years. It might be 2 to 3 years of sucking, but you can at least evaluate. All right, does he have a grip on the locker room? That's when you bring other people in around you. Is he calling the game flow, the people around him, offensive decent coordinator? Do we need to help him with that? I just don't. It's not fair for first-year coaches, Antonio Pierce and Mayo and other first-year coaches, no matter what their skin color are, to come in here and you expect them to turn it. Gerard Mayo would have had to go to the playoffs to save his job. That's what it looks like, and I don't understand. I do understand because they want Mike Vrabel. I think that's who they want, right? And I don't understand why Vrabel sat out a year anyway. I thought he got a raw day in Tennessee. He never had a quarterback. You have to have a quarterback to win in this league. This league is over with you having a elite defense and being able to grind your way like the 2000 Ravens to a Super. That's over. That's going to be what that happened in 2000. So we might be due for it in the next 5 or 10 years, but you need a quarterback. You need somebody who can throw the rock. You look at the teams in the playoffs, all of them are those top 15 quarterbacks out of those teams? I think those are they're not all top 15 quarterbacks.
Let me look.
Nah, because you got Vrabel. I'm sorry, not Vrabel. You got
Jordan Love. You got Jalen Hurts.
No, Baker. Jordan Love. So Jordan Love's in the
All
playoffs.
No, what I'm talking about the teams that are in the playoff. All of those are top 15 quarterbacks. Maybe the shaky one may be Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the shaky one is Pittsburgh.
So, and then Bo Nix, I don't know where he falls on your rankings, but let's say top 15. You're not getting if you get in the playoffs with the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh, you have to have a generational talent on the other side, which is TJ Watt. How many people got a TJ Watt on the other side of the ball in this playoffs?
Right.
Nobody. The team that had that was Aiden Hutchinson. He's hurt, but they have a complete team though. Nobody else. It's just frustrating, man, because it's like unless you have that, unless you go get the quarterback, it like I go back to Anthony Lynn. You go get the quarterback, and after year 2 or 3, it's just dysfunction. Okay, But if you give them the quarterback, you're not even giving them a chance to build and take this thing to another level. I don't know what you expect. You just, it's not fair to the fans to keep starting over. I mean, you guys need time. Like, if you go get a job right now and they fire you after a week and just like, hey, it ain't working out. Like, damn, you didn't give me a chance to learn how to drop the fries. I was getting good at it. So I it's not going to happen because it's an elite fraternity being an NFL head coach, and it gives you experience. You might get another opportunity somewhere else, but these guys are going to have to really go in here and figure out, is this for me? Can I deal with 1 year not getting a chance? Because unfortunately, when we saw these hires, there was the possibility of this being a 1 year and out. I thought that with Antonio Pierce, because the way the quarterback situation was set up in Vegas, it was no way he was coming. If he won that division or got in the playoffs, that would have been the coach of the year. You can't win with that. You can't win with those quarterbacks. Those quarterbacks are to tie you in for 2 or 3 games when that main guy's hurt, or you get a concussion protocol to get main guy come out. He got to come in for a couple plays. These guys got to start more than 3 games. You picking top 10. It just is what it is. So sorry for the rant. I'll pass it on.
Go ahead, Jack.
No, you made some good points there, BJ. But out of all the coaches that got canned, I think Doug Peterson's going to bounce back the best. I expect to see Doug Peterson coaching the team next year. You look at all these coaches, they all went through hella injuries. All of them lost their starting quarterback. And like BJ just said, what is it? You ain't got no quarterback, so you get fired? I like Doug Peterson. I'm surprised Jacksonville let him go. Shit, he was coach of the year a couple years ago.
So, I'm sorry, Jack. I think Doug ran his course. I think the problem isn't Doug in Jacksonville. The problem is Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke is the worst GM in sports, and for some reason he still has a job, and he shouldn't have a job. You could take that little dog on Facebook that bounces a ball off his nose and picks games. Well, you could have him pick players, and he could probably do a better job than Trent Baalke. Whether it's that orangutan or whatever it is, whatever the animal you want to pick, they could do a better job than Trent Baalke at his job. And I think the problem is Byron Leftwich 3 years ago tried to expose him and say, this isn't a good GM situation. If you want to hire me, you got to bring in my GM with me. And Byron Leftwich didn't have the backup and didn't have the gravitas to make that move. So he kind of ended up out of the league. And now he's trying to find his way back into the league because of that play. So I think the Monday casualties, Antonio Pierce, I think he had to go because I think that whole Raider Nation, the whole whatever it was a fad. It was nice. It was cute. They gave him his chance. Did they give him the QB? No. But they don't ever give you the QB in certain situations. Jared Mayo, I think his situation was he mishandled his offseason and his preseason stuff with the kid, with May. And I think he just made too many foils or too many mistakes with the media. And I think that's their issue.
But what do you expect from a first-year coach? He's a first year.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
It doesn't matter because what it was, they were trying to move on from Belichick, but they felt obligated to Belichick to give him a chance.
But you know why it matters? Because they sat down and interviewed. When you interview a coach, you're looking for not only football knowledge, but can this man talk for my organization? Is he sharp? And if that's one of the reasons, then that the Crafts failed the interview process, then he should have never been hired.
I'll give you that. I'll live with that one. Because I think if you watch, even this offseason when he talked about May and the opportunities and Brissett, like he didn't exactly lay out the best path for May to be the quarterback. And I think that was the struggle for him the whole time. Peterson will never coach again. If Peterson wants to be offensive coordinator, he can, but he's nobody's coach. He's never coming back down that path I'm sorry, unless you're just a. I know what you about to say, BJ, but unless you're just desperate for a coach, you're not hiring Doug Peterson again. He had his two.
Somebody gonna need a 1-year coach, a bridge coach.
Listen, guys. Do you? All right, I feel that New England got better as the season went on. Do you two agree or disagree with that?
I don't disagree, but I don't agree because I think there were moments in the media and some other moments where I think he showed a weakness. I think there was a weakness shown, and the league doesn't allow you to make those mistakes on a media side of it. And I'm not going to say anything more. Let me get to these comments because I see I got 7
some paragraphs
in the rack. Gosh, I don't even know where I begin.
I'll get you.
You
can BJ, you got the background, so go ahead. Yep.
Mayo handpicked successor by Belichick.
But I think that wasn't – it was Belichick, but it was on his way out. So I think that's where his problem became is because I think Kraft felt obligated to give him a chance and didn't give him a fair chance.
Yeah, he definitely didn't. I'm not shocked by Pierce, but he did get the shaft. Mark Davis is now paying $80 million on fired coaches.
I said that Sunday. I said they're going to have the highest paid coaches that won't coach a game for them ever.
Jack Wagner, they both did a good job, in my opinion, for what they had to work with. I think New England let Mayo go because they wanted Mike Vrabel for the next head coach in New England. I agree with that 100%.
I don't think Mayo's the next guy.
You know, Vrabel?
I don't think he's the next guy. Because I think that takes Kraft too far back into the Belichick world.
I mean,
somebody else. That's my hot take.
You think he wants to get out of the Belichick thing?
Yep.
I mean, it won you 6 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? And you're not getting.
He's not seeing it that way.
You're not getting Bill per se. You're getting a disciple of Bill. And Vrabel, I think Vrabel's a really good coach, really sexy coach that knows how to handle himself in the media. You know, and he had that if they had a quarterback, that Tennessee team could have done something. They never had a quarterback. He had that defense playing. But I will say this time and time again because I watched it for 20 years in Orchard Park. You can have a top 5 defense if they keep coming back on the field, it's going to be a point in the game where they just break. And this top 5 defense, they can't stop anything because they've been on the field the whole entire damn game. You know, Ryan Fitzpatrick, J.P. Lossman, Trent Edwards, bums. Anyway, Matty Ice, Boy Wonder did not want Pierce last year, but was afraid the players would walk. They didn't spend cap space this year and force his hand. Pierce can coach, and I hope he gets another shot again. I think he will.
He's done.
You think so? I think he will get another shot. I think Matty hit it on the head with that. He had the Raiders when they gave him the intern. He had the grips on that thing, and I think they knew that, and they had to give him the job.
Think about it, BJ. Name the interims that get multiple opportunities. It's not a long list.
I get that. I think Pierce, from what you said about Mayo, he knows how to talk to the media. He's a player's guy. I think he's gonna have to work his way back up the rank. I think he's gonna have to come back in defensive coordinator. He might get another intern opportunity. And maybe he knows what to do this time around after getting shafted.
What's that guy in Carolina? He was the interim in Carolina 2 years ago.
Wilkes.
Yep, Steve Wilkes.
Mm-hmm.
He was the 1-year coach in Denver.
Yep.
He got an interim, and I think he got another interim. I think once you get those interims, you're done.
Matty Ice, who does Vrabel like more, Brady or Kraft? That would determine if he ends up in Vegas or New England. Wow.
I don't think he ends up in Vegas because Vegas is in a bad spot to draft a quarterback. Vegas is 8th. This draft doesn't lend to a deep quarterback class, unless you're Jack Carr and you're super high on Jackson Dart. But I don't think they're gonna take their chance on Dart. I think what they would do is if they brought in Dart, they'd bring in like a Kirk Cousins or somebody like that to have as a bridge to that quarterback. Or you bring in a Mariota to get you the Dart. But I think there's gonna be layers for that situation.
Who's the better quarterback of the Dart class? Who's going to be ahead?
I think Cam Ward is number one. I think teams will take Ward over Shador.
Okay.
Sanders, Ward, and that boy from Oregon.
Say it again.
Sanders, Ward, and then that boy from Oregon.
Nah, the boy from Oregon, he's a midget.
He still got time?
Nobody's taking chances on Dylan Gabriel because he showed his true colors in the Ohio State game.
That's a whole nother argument with Shador. There's a whole nother tree branch right here.
5 on my list. He was only 5 because of what he did in college.
James King says Pete Carroll to Chicago, and then
I forgot about that name.
Matty Ice said Paul Cordova rant on the situation in Jacksonville was spot on. I missed that. What did
Paul was basically like
Duval Paul say?
Duval Paul basically was just like the Cons are basically idiots. They have no idea what they're trying to do. Whether it's Sean, whether it's Tony, it's a waste of time, and we're going to suffer until they figure out that Trent Baalke is an idiot and shouldn't be running a football team.
Can I say something about the Jacksonville Jaguars? I don't know if Duval Paul agree with me or you guys. They have a bigger issue than that because their franchise quarterback is where Sam Darnold was a couple years ago, where he's seeing ghosts. Until you get him fixed and get that situation correct, it doesn't matter who you bring in at GM or coach. If that boy's throwing the ball in the dirt, he was missing wide open things last year. I
hear you. I'm with you, but I think they need to. There's some things in house that if they can take care of, I think that will get them to other options. And of course, when we talk about Tony Khan, the next question becomes AEW, laughing out loud, James King. Let's try to close this out with the college football playoff.
We close out shows here? Shit, I thought this was all nighter.
Oh, ball coach.
Hey, we get comments. We got to let the comments live, baby.
We on page 200 of the playbook, 1,600 pages. Good God.
I thought we was going to do college football Thursday night.
Nah, because college football actually plays Thursday night. So
that's right. You're right. All right, let me do this real quick little college basketball thing. You know, I've been high on this Florida Gators basketball team moving up the top 25. They lost the first big matchup with Kentucky Saturday, 106 to 102, I believe, 106-100. What a hell of a game they put up with Kentucky. But I mentioned they were playing number 1 Tennessee tonight. Florida Gators up 34 on the number 1 team in the country.
Tennessee can't hit. Tennessee could. Never mind. I ain't even gonna go there. Let's just know Tennessee can't make a shot. Let's just say it that way.
Oh, right now, yes, it's ugly. And then I'm not sure what the Duke score is. We'll get back into
Duke 76, Pittsburgh 47. So Duke blew them up.
Yeah, and Georgetown's playing Marquette. They should be near halftime about right now. Somebody updated earlier. Georgetown was up 11 on Marquette. Marquette is number 7 team in the country, so that'd be a big win for Georgetown. Georgetown's holding on at 12-2 right now. The local Terps took some bumps this past week. They dropped 2. They lost to Oregon and they lost to Washington, but they were in both games. They didn't lose by double digits, so that's nothing to shake Maryland up. Maryland's 11-4, Georgetown 12-2 currently. we can go to college football. Thank you.
All right, so here we go. Penn State, Notre Dame. I don't know if
Depends
this is
on
game 1 or game 2.
Depends on which rankings you looking at, James.
Any thoughts on the Penn State Notre Dame matchup? I'll try to get a quick line for it while you guys talk about it.
Oh man, hey, look, man, I want to lean towards Notre Dame. I just think that they're playing some good football right now. I think they got out of that I don't know how to say it. I think they feel like they belong up there. Those kids feel like they actually belong up there. And they're on par with that. And they should be on par with that because of who they are, but I don't think they've been on par. I think they've been close. I think they're there now. It's just putting it together in a whole game. I like them versus Penn State though. I think. Look at this. He got his pen. I'm gonna have to get me some Maryland game. It don't matter. But
I thought I was gonna be on with Midnight Rider and KG. I was gonna bust them up with this joker.
You know. But now I like Notre Dame. You got the line, Midnight Rider?
Yeah, it's coming up in this thing in a second. Hold on.
Oh, look at this. Live updates. Look, we're going to start taking those live updates. What do y'all want from us, baby? Look at this. On the spot update.
So Notre Dame -1.5, over under 45.5. That's what we got right now is the line from FanDuel, which is the official line of the Sideline Junkies.
I wouldn't be surprised if that jumps closer to even come game day.
Yeah, give me the under in Notre Dame.
DJ.
Go ahead, Jack.
Well, this game right here, there's no doubt in my mind it's going to be one in the trenches. This big ass Notre Dame offensive line going against this big-ass Penn State defensive line, both of them tops in the country. So this is going to be the best game of the weekend of the college football playoff. This is going to be the best game, I think. I'm looking for a low-scoring fighting game, not no high-scoring. And I think Drew Aller can outplay the quarterback over there at Notre Dame. So
Riley Leonard. That's not saying much.
Yeah, Riley. And I think Penn State's running game, I think Penn State's going to get them. I take Penn State in the under. It's going to be a badass game. Everybody, get your popcorn, sit down. That Penn State Notre Dame game, I predict it to be the best game of the college football playoffs.
I'm going to take my boys. I'm going to take Notre Dame to win it.
I already had your name over there.
And I think we hit the over because I think it's gonna be like a 26-23 type of ball game where they steal something late on a I think my man Love is gonna be the guy that breaks the ball game open because I think he's finally healthy for the first time in a long time.
What's Love got to do with it?
And if not, there you go. And if not, then maybe the price is right because between Love and Price, one of the two are gonna make this run game do what they got to do. I like Penn State's defense. I think they're athletic across the board. Abdul Carr and company are going to make it different. But I think Notre Dame defensively can shut down the run game that you were talking about from Notre Dame. So that's where I have that.
From Penn State.
Yes, I'm sorry. From Penn State. And then here we go. To end it out, Ohio State -5.5. Versus who are they playing? Texas.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Give me Ohio State. I ain't talking about it. Give me Ohio State. Give me Ohio State. Give me Ohio State. I was not expecting the dismantling of Oregon the way they did. I just wasn't. They might be still mad they lost to Michigan.
Yes.
They are upset. That is a hornet's nest that somebody hit. Michigan hit. And Michigan gone home. They beat Alabama. They celebrating. And now everybody else got to deal with Ohio State. Give me Ohio State.
You ever back in the day cut grass and like there's a beehive in the grass and you don't know it's there and you hit that bitch.
You hear it. You as soon as the blade hit it and you hear that sound, you know what you made contact with.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened at Ohio State.
Get the water hose! Somebody get the water hose! Get the water hose!
Totally agree, man. It's just I just think I would love to take Texas because I love Quinn Ewers, but nah, I think Ohio State runs away with this. I think we get the over because Texas offense is dynamic enough that they're gonna make it a ball game. But Ohio State looked real pissed off last week when they played, or 2 weeks ago when they played, whenever it was. Yeah.
Man.
Jack Carr.
Whew. This is Michigan's fault.
Ohio State, they're looking sharp. I didn't think that matchup should have been last week. I was thinking that matchup last week, Ohio State, Oregon, should have been this week. I think they screwed up on that seeding there just because I figured Ohio State and Oregon were two of the top 3 teams in the country at the moment. So why were they playing each other? But in this matchup, and after what Texas did last week, I think Texas is going to get straightened out and get some get right. And I feel Texas upsetting Ohio State. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Texas in the over is what I'm going to stick with.
Okay, let's run to the comments. I see the comments running through. Let's talk about.
I didn't get what you two had selected on that game. You both selected Ohio State.
Yes.
The Ohio State. Give me the. Make sure you put the Ohio State. Give me the Ohio State.
All right, so I see 8
the
in the
Ohio State.
He was talking about when Jack was talking about.
We were talking about the Florida thing.
Yep.
Okay.
You got to listen to A.
ESPN, 7.
Yeah.
Here we go. Can Penn State defense keep them in it? I think they do, but Indy wins. Matty Ice. James King says Indy coach has swag. Indy coach takes identity of their coach.
Yep.
I totally agree with that.
Yep. That confidence.
Matt says Ohio State playing a road game basically, but the last 2 games have been different. Ohio State team.
I see that.
Matty, James King says best wide receiver in the country. Can't deny that.
Who?
Jeremiah Smith, the kid from Ohio State.
The one from Ohio State.
That boy from Alabama is sick too.
He's sick, but he ain't better than.
I don't know. He right there.
Let me tell you something.
It ain't a far cry.
Okay, I'll take that.
Let's get to that last comment, Midnight Rock. I know we got to wrap this up.
Oh, Lord.
Texas is so good, though. Oh, my gosh. The Ohio State / KG, but they're so good.
Let me tell you something. Jack said something about the Ohio State-Oregon matchup should have been later. If it was later, if it was in April, Ohio State would have slaughtered Oregon.
I don't mean that.
No, I know what you're saying, but you should have saw the matchup later. But what I'm saying is, I want to see the best teams play. And if Oregon play like that, that means they're not a top 5. If they get dismantled, if you're a top dog, you don't get dismantled like that. And that, I don't know if they're not ready for that yet.
Well, they didn't get the team a top dog should be playing though. Period. I mean, a top dog playing a top dog.
That's where you find out who eat dogs and who eat wolves. And Ohio State proved they eat the wolves. It's like we got a saying in the gridiron, right? You gotta play who you play. It don't matter. You gotta play who you play. I don't care if you know the plays we're running. At some point, you have to prove you belong on the stage. And right now, Oregon doesn't belong on the same stage with Ohio State. If that game was 42-41, we talking about different. I understand where Jack's coming from. Oh, you want to see that game further down the line. but I want to see the teams that beat the teams that you're supposed to beat.
All right.
I don't want to hear the Alabamas of the world crying. You lost to Vanderbilt. That's why you're not where you're supposed to be. Okay.
Exactly.
Beat who you're supposed to beat, and whoever sits in front of you.
Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois.
Yeah, but that was like week 2.
And that's what helped them. That was earlier in the season, and then they righted the ship. But
and then the story behind that is that Marcus Freeman actually reached out to the Northern Illinois coach and said, "Hey, what did you see?" And then the Northern Illinois coach kind of gave him the scouting report, and that's how they fixed their woes.
Man, I would have charged him another $5 million.
He probably would have paid it if he didn't pay it.
I would have charged him another $5 million. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. But Oregon just not ready. And we're gonna see if Texas is ready because, like I said, they that's a buzzsaw.
You could see 4 totally different ball teams this week than what you seen last week. So
now, you definitely can.
It's not guaranteed.
Now it's not. It's just one of them things. I feel like when them lights come on and that moment hit, you either ready or you're not. And Oregon wasn't ready, and I think they've done that a couple times in the big lights. They just kind of like died.
Ohio State has the best paid team in the country, and they finally got to play on felt like they were pushed to the brink, and they had to be them. They had to show them they were him. They were him.
Yeah.
In that moment, and that's all that happened just in that discussion.
God damn! How many Notre Dame fans do we have in the chat?
That's my boy J-Dub. He likes them all the time.
Oh,
but, I don't know. I did the same thing.
All right, guys. Let's try to wrap up and get out of here before 1:30.
Oh, what I was going to say, but you can have a team that's having a down day, which could have happened to Oregon last week, and then you can have a team that's playing out of their draws, which could have been what happened with Ohio State, and then they roll over this week. So just that one game doesn't mean Oregon sucks or they're not a top squad.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you on that, but I think Ohio State showed their dominance in that moment. And
in that moment.
Yeah.
In that moment.
That's why we love the one and dones as opposed to playing like a series or anything like that. Like, this is why we play. All right, it's Saturday at 2. Bring your big draws and let's play ball. And if you don't bring your big draws, then we can't help you.
Well, somebody was asking me about the college football playoff and how it's 12 teams now. And I informed them it might go up to 16. It might go more. And
I think it needs to stay at 16.
Shit. If it goes that far, you might as well just play a full season double elimination tournament then.
No. Now you're trying to kill college football.
Let me give y'all
exactly.
real quick. I want to give y'all the last 5 playoff games / bowl games. Oregon. They just lost to Ohio State. They beat the Liberty Flames. Whoo, goodness gracious. Give me jitters. They beat them 45-6. Oregon's last 5 playoff / bowl game. They won the Holiday Bowl 28-27 against North Carolina. They're supposed to be a tier 1 team. We're talking about Oregon being a tier 1 team. They lost to Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl in 21. They lost the Fiesta Bowl to Iowa State. All right. Here's my thing. Until they start, if you want to be a top tier number 1 team, you should be 4 out of 5 of this. Then and that's what it is. You should be 4 out of 5 or at least 3 out of 5 in this right here. If you lose in the Alamo Bowl to Oklahoma, Oklahoma is a tier 1 team, but you shouldn't have lost to Iowa State.
Why were they in the Fiesta Bowl then? They must have been something that year. I'm not saying they're a top tier every year, but they must have been something that year if they were in the Fiesta Bowl.
Uh-oh.
It depends on what the Fiesta Bowl meant at that time. But
Well,
here's what
I'm gonna get some more stats. I'll get some more stats. I know we gotta get out of here, but I'll get some more stats.
All right, let's hit the James King comment. Y'all dudes should be saying a no Diddy a ton tonight. And then Matty Ice, Cavs versus Thunder in NBA tomorrow. Be interesting to see how that does in the ratings tomorrow.
Okay, see, bang them out.
More no Diddy. So we're gonna quickly close it out, guys. Any final thoughts, guys?
No final thoughts. I'm done talking and ranting. I'm good.
OKC is playing some solid basketball. They are kind of playing it the way the game's supposed to be played.
You're right.
Not relying on the three. So, we'll get into NBA here shortly. We just got too much football right now.
All right, so
thanks for all the comments.
First and foremost, let's thank everyone that was in the comments. I hope we gave you your comment. I hope we responded to your comment. And if not, we apologize because it wasn't from something that we were trying to ignore. Thank you for watching today. Hopefully we see you on Thursday. Probably going to have a different cast because this week's been crazy because of the snow. But that's the Gentleman Jack Carr. That's the Boss Man BJ. I'm the Midnight Rider. They claim we don't do no overtime, but we go over an hour and 20 minutes a whole lot. So I think I'm gonna call a bullshit, as the little guy says in the commercial in the memes. But thank you for watching. We'll see you on Thursday night, 7:30, I think. But I gotta double check that because
yes, 30. 7:30.
7:30. All right.